Shakers. Welcome back to my channel, Margaret Knob Designs. I am going to be sharing you a design team project from Country Craft Creations. The collection that I'm using is by Blue Fern. It is called Yuletide, and this is a completely different album than I've ever done before. And there's some things that I like about it, a lot of things I like about it, but there are a couple things that I'm going to change out if I do this again. Basically, this album is a 12 by 12 album, and I had to figure out a way of putting the pages in and connecting everything together. So as I go along here, I want to show you the things that I used, but I also want to talk a little bit about what I would change for this design of this album. So let's get into it, and I will show you what I have done with it. I've not finished every single page because I want to be able to put photos in as I go along. So you're going to see some pages that are put together and are done, but there's several other ones that are not, because I just want to make sure that the pictures and photos work on the pages. I'm going to be using this for my my collection, or my December daily, but it's really more just a December, for the month of December, Christmas and Thanksgiving. So, and I wanted to make it as a simple album. And in fact, my daughter had looked at what I'd done on this, and she goes, "Oh, I just love this album, Mom." She goes, "It's not with all those flips and flaps and things that you usually put in." And as much as I love all the flips and flaps, I really wanted the paper to sing. I really wanted the paper to be the picture of what we were looking at, along with the pictures complementing the paper itself. So on the front here with the album, again, like I said, it's 12 by 12, and then the spine is 3 inches by 12 inches. And the reason why this is 3 inches, which I took and double matted that as well, but why it's 3 inches is because of how I had to put the pages in. And here, let me take this out of here. I was using that to hold it up a little. And on the back, I just let the paper in here. The only thing that I'm going to add to the back of this, if I think about it, is just a placard back here, you know, with a name or a special sentiment for this book. But basically, this album is 12 by 12, and it's not completely full. It will not be full for a little while until I get all the pictures in. But I used some flowers from my stash, and these flowers that I used are Graphic 45. This is some seam binding from my stash that I got from Country Craft Creations. There's a little bit of red lace or yarn. I still have more to be able to be used in the album. So this is from Blue Fern, and I got this at Country Craft Creations. Everything was gotten there unless I say that it's from my stash singularly. This is a couple of dies that I used to make some doilies that were in my stash, and then I had this paper left. It's been in my stash for quite a while. I used that to make the doilies out of that, and one back here. And then this is from the ephemera pack, and this is one of the cards, and then this is ephemera and ephemera, and just some of the flowers. I have some of the wire in there. And if we open this up, this is going to be really large, so I'm going to try to get it all in, or get it so you can see what's going on. So in the front of this album, I made a waterfall. And this waterfall, this is one of the ephemera items, and I put a bow on here and onto the back. And then I used, for the magnet for this, this is also one of the ephemera pieces I put on the cards. And as I go along here, the cards are beautiful. I put this one here because I wanted to be able to do some journaling, and then I can do pictures along in here, pictures. And I can still put some scrap pieces along in there if I want to. I may just leave it because it doesn't have a lot of identity to its appearance with the black. It just kind of blends in. Here's another one where there's a spot to do journaling if I want to. And then back here, oh, I forgot all about this. I was going to cover this with a piece of the pattern paper, and like I said, I forgot to do that. Sorry. Where is, let me just see, I had some other, apologize, wanted to find, here. I will do this. So I was going to cover this and this over. I'm sorry, totally forgot about it, but this is also a pocket back here, so I can add the tag in there. So, and then this is just a piece of ribbon that is put together under the magnet, and it just goes on like that. So then that way I don't have to tie and untie that. And then this page, talking about the fact that I really want the paper to be able to be seen. So I have 3 different photo mats on here. And the reason why I did this now is because I wanted to show you how I was planning on putting together some of these pages. So you can see that the paper is there, there's photo mats in there. This white can come off. I just put temporary adhesive on it, so I can leave it on there if I want to keep the white. I know it'll give it a little bit more depth, but that's not an issue because I have so much room in the spine on this. So if I go over to the next page, this is kind of a page section in the works. I wanted to show you some of the things that I was thinking about doing. I have, this is where you can put tags or little things in there. And then this is just one of the die cuts from my stash, as well as this. But I wanted to be able to see all of this beautiful paper. And what I did is just to kind of give you a picture of what I can do. Like, if I wanted to, I can leave that down there, and then I could put this photo mat right along that page and give it a spot, a priority spot. Or, you know, I could take just the one 5x, it's upside down, a 5x7 photo, or doing something with a bigger photo. Maybe I want that down over here, and doing something like this, or even like this coming down here. I cut out a bunch of photo mats just so I could try it out and see what I liked and what I didn't like. And on this page, this is one of the cut-aparts. This is a die from my stash. This is a red piece of the Artisan Cardstock. All the cardstock I used is Artisan Cardstock. And this is in the red. And I can also do on this section something like this if I want to fill the page. And I might even put other pockets, things that something can be tucked in. The thing that I want to show you about this layer is you can see there is, this is all punched along here. The one of the things that I talked about, that there's some things I would change. One of the things that I would change is when I'm putting my small pieces in here, I would cut a second piece that would be the partner to this piece, because what happens is that it looks fine the way that it is with the black, because I think that it looks nice that way. But to kind of finish this off, this is too wide, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about. Just having that along there, and I may even go back and see if I can match up that within the pages as well. Then on my next page, I've got a few items that I've gotten put down, and this is a photo mat right in here from my stash. But as you can see, it's also a spot where I can put a tag or a photo in there. And I may put another small photo down over here, or some ephemera up here. That's the other thing. I have a lot of the ephemera left that I can go ahead and put the photos or put the ephemera with the photos. But this paper is so beautiful that I just cannot see covering the whole thing up. So I'm not going to fuss on a lot of the rest of these pages other than putting some of the photo mats down. So I'm for sure going to use this. I'm going to for sure put some tags in there. And then on this page, I did a little bit more. This is a die cut from my stash. And then I have 3 little dots down here. I took these Graphic 45 tags and I just left them plain on the back. And if I have some leftover papers that are small enough, I might cover them up in the back. This is another one of the cards. And this is another one of the Graphic 45 tags. But actually I took the bottom part of the tag off because it was too tall for this page and it just looked like it didn't really fit. So don't be afraid to cut down your tags or cards or cut out pieces of things if you need to. This is one of the pieces of the ephemera that it's actually from one of the cut-aparts, and I put that down here over the paper. And then I've got 2 blank pages here again. I did not put anything in here, but again, if I go back and I look at maybe where I want to put some photos and see how that comes out, and maybe I will even do like 1, 2, 3 photos going down here because it's a plain page, so I probably will live with putting more photos on there, but I might put another one of those, they're like pockets for tags, this right here. May do another one of those somewhere as an accent on the page. And on this side, we have quite a lot of an open area as well. And so kind of looking at that where I can use, the smaller tags and the tags here. And I just want to be sure that I have the right pictures for those photo mats. So once I get all the pictures ready and printed, that's what I'm going to be doing. So then on this page is there. And the other thing I should say is that I took the time to lay out all the pattern papers and the patterns so that they matched next to each other with the book fully open. They're not perfect, but they are good. They match well with each other. So over here I have another die cut that is a little bit smaller than the other one I showed you, and a couple other embellishments. Here I put a little bit of that buffalo check ribbon on top of my tags right here. And then I took another little bit of an embellishment, and I can put a photo on here. I can also take in, I have some letters that I could put on here. Maybe I want to put Merry Christmas or Joy, different things. These don't have to be photos. They can be something stamped in there. So I'm going to take a look at that and see what I can do about making that happen. And I think I'm gonna do this. That's beautiful. So then if we go to the next spread, you can see this next spread is very wide open as well. This one is not as open as some of the areas, so I may even end up putting in just smaller photo spots, and I might even end up putting some ephemera along the pages along there, like not on this page. The next 2 pages again I have are plain right now, and this one for sure I am not going to be doing any huge photos on because I don't want to cover up the beautiful flowers and the skates on here. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I can have a choice of doing many things. Same thing with this page. It's very open. I can use a 5x7, but I could also make some tags. This would also go very nicely on here because this paper matches well with the rest of it. And maybe I do that with doing, you know, another tag down here, and or a photo mat, and maybe I can do a small one of the cards even in here, and then it can be a tuck, or I put this up and put the card down here for a tuck or a pocket. So that's always an option as well. And on here I said something a little smaller. Then back here I finished off the back of this book, and this side I didn't do anything on. I just am waiting because it's beautiful paper, but I may even do another type of waterfall, or a side waterfall like I did back here. It's possible. So back here I did the same thing with the cards. I have a flip up right here to hold that down. Yeah, I love that sound when that snaps. And then these are photo mats. You can put them on the front or on the back, wherever you would like to put them. And then there is another journaling spot right there. And that goes closed. And at the top of here, I have my 2 photo mats. And believe it or not, both of these are from the collection. This may have been from, in the collection, it was the back of the card for the cards, you know, these cards. And I believe this one was for the back of the ephemera pieces. So I just cut off the top and I rounded the edges on these, and they were useful for cards for some picture mats. And then I just left this, or glued it on 3 sides. And then here I ended up taking some of the Blue Fern embellishments on this card, which I got from Country Craft Creations, and I just put them into here with some buttons, and those buttons are from Country Craft Creations as well, and they were out of this shaker pack. So I'm even considering, I may even do a shaker photo frame somewhere on these pages, maybe towards the back. So I just haven't decided on that yet. So, and then along here, I had wanted to cut out some red from my red cardstock so that I could put that on. Where was that one? Here, right here. I wanted those red letters. So when I cut it out, I just cut out a smaller piece that just said photo. And then this is a piece of the ephemera that I just cut off the white around it, or it's from the cut parts, I can't remember, and rounded the corners on all of these. But this just adds, this here just adds a little bit of interest to our page. And that is the back of our book. Like I said, there is still a lot of things that I wanted to do with this, but I wanted to show you the construction of the book to begin with. That's the most important thing. And for me, I'll be honest with you, for me, decorating takes a long time because I go back and forth a million times. So, and this was a little bit harder for me because I wanted to utilize some of my die cuts that I could put into the book and mix and match different things throughout the collection. One of the other things that I would definitely change the next time I do this album is, I believe I cut these down just a little bit. I think they were 11 and 7/8. I cut them down. I would cut these pages down on 2 sides by more than what I did, because they didn't go as, they're even, but I would like them a little bit shorter or a little back. So I probably would cut these pages 11 3/4 by 11 3/4, and then put them into the album. It's not that they're bad, it's just that I think it would look a little bit better if I did that with the collection. Also, just to note, on this photo, this is an open photo mat. Oops. And so that you can slide the picture right behind there. And I'm still considering too, I thought about, there's 2 layers here of this photo frame. I'm thinking about putting a black on top of it, but I was trying to match it up so that this cream matched this cream, but I've got to get some dark kind of black into that as well. So those are the couple things that I would probably have changed about this album. The cutting the 12 by 12 paper down to 11 3/4, so it was a little bit more, the cover, you know, came out just a little bit more. But these are all triple matted on the outside. This is, you'll see in the tutorial how I covered the chipboard, and then the Artisan Cardstock in here, the red, and the designer paper. So these were all measured at, the red was 11 7/8, and the designer paper was 11 3/4. And basically I did, for most of the matting, 1/8 of an inch. Some of these mats here were 1/4 of an inch. Some of them, you know, were a little bit more like that. I just did it how I felt comfortable doing it. Oh, I forgot, and I have a punch for a butterfly that I actually made this probably 2 years ago, and I just thought it fit well within the design of the photo album. So I will list most of the information that I can down below. Know again that these are graphic 45 flowers. You can get them at Country Craft Creations, and this collection, it may or may not be available still on Country Craft Creations, but this doesn't have to be the collection you use. One of the things that I would say is to watch for a Blue Fern collection from Tamara's store, and Blue Fern is very similar, where they do a lot of this with the different designs on their pages. So doing something like this, if you don't want to cut the paper up too much, you can really utilize this design if you want to make a bigger album for maybe a baby or for a special occasion. But otherwise, this is done for me right now. I will come back, and I'm not going to promise next month or the next month. As soon as I get the time to get some pictures out in my album, I will come back, and I actually will show you the finished book, but that probably won't be for a little while. I have some other projects I have to get fully done. So, but I will look forward to being with you and sharing with you again. And if you like it, let me know down below for the thumbs up, and leave some comments. Please leave any comments or questions that you might have down below. Thank you so very much, and I appreciate you taking the time or spending time with me to go through my project. The tutorial is to follow. Thank you so very much. Have a great night. Okay, well, let's get started on working on the cover of our lap book. So what I ended up doing was, this was my other 12 by 12 piece of chipboard, and what I want to do is show you how I put this together for the cover. As I mentioned before in the beginning, this is the first time that I've ever done a lap book, or even attempted to putting it together, and maybe some others have done that, but I've never put one together before. So it's a little bit of an experiment for me, and appreciate you playing along with me. I was going to use my tape, but I think I'm going to use my glue for this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, so that I can cover this 12 by 12 piece, I don't have any cardstock that's bigger than 12 by 12, so I decided to use these like hinges to cover the outside of the chipboard. And now I'm doing it this way because everybody has cardstock and solid cardstock in 12 by 12. But another way that you could cover this, actually there's two different ways that I've covered larger pieces of chipboard or a book that may be bigger. And one way is I've used black masking tape, and the other way is I've used shelf paper, or plastic, to put my my pieces together. So I know that that's not, don't have easily access to that in my design team projects, so I just wanted to make sure that I used something that I knew that you could replicate. So maybe sometime soon I'll do one with the black masking tape and one with the shelf paper as well, and we can try putting it all together that way. So first of all, we're going to go along and we're going to put the rest of these hinges on, and while I do that, I'm going to speed this up a little bit so that you don't have to sit and watch me finagle with all of this. Looks like I'm missing one of my hinges. Let me tell you, I have had so many problems with mitering the end of my hinges, and the reason is I just have a hard time remembering where I want the points at, and it's like 1 minute I think I'm cutting them the right way, and then I try to put them on and I think, oh man, this is the wrong way. So you just got to be careful when you're mitering the corners so that you get them even into the end. So this is one of the easiest ways that I found doing this, and I put a lot of glue on it, even though we normally don't put, you don't need tons of glue, but I do put more glue on this because it just helps it to hold better. All right. Okay, my one hinge, I cut the wrong length, so I'm going to cut one out and I'll be right back. Thanks. Okay, so I've got my piece cut. Just want to show you what I need to do with this. So these are 1-inch strips and they are scored at a 1/2 inch. Okay, now we're going to make sure we're cutting this the right way. So I want the folded edge to be pointed out. So I need to have a point like that. Not a point on these ends, but on the folded part. So you're always cutting into the corner. And then that way, you've got it cut properly. Unlike my many other attempts. All right. And this is the Artisan Cardstock that I'm using to put this together. then I'm going to put this one on here. So then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to put some red, this is the My Colors paper, and it's called Imperial Red. We're going to put this on as our next layer, and then we will put on our pattern paper. So the way I cut this, the red cardstock, and you don't have to use this one, but I like the way the colors were. So what I'm going to do is, in order to get this layered on my cover, I'm going to put this underneath here, but I need to cut this to 11 and 7/8. So we'll just get this out. And I'm going to do it on the shiny side up. So this is going to be 11 and 7/8, and taking that off of both sides. Right. And then this will go down. And let me just get our paper out. Let me see. This is the papers that I have, and this was the reason why I wanted to do the whole 12 by 12 paper, and the reason for that is because I just love the designs of these, and I did not want to cut any more of this off than I needed to. So those are my inside sheets. Let me just see what I have for my, no, that wasn't it. So we're going to use this one for the back. We have this one, and then we're going to do something on the spine. So I'm going to take off, oh, I forgot to do this. I'll take this extra patterned take that off, and then I'm going to cut this to 11 and 3/4. So basically I'm moving down 1/8 of an inch on both of those. So I think I'm going to cut this side. And you can keep these little strips. You can possibly use them for on a pocket or something. Let me just check this. I think I might have cut this lopsided. Nope, did good. Alrighty. So we're done cutting for now. So if this is our black and this happens sometimes, you don't get all the glue right to the edge that you wanted. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put my paper on top of here. And I'm going to put this one on top of this so that I can be sure to get this even. I like to dry fit it before I put it on or glue it together just to see how the edges are. All right. Sorry, not doing so well here. I just got to see if I cut this good enough or as even as I could. All right, I think I'm actually going to cut this just a pinch on here because I'm not quite even. Remember I said I thought that I was a little bit off? I want to see if I can even this out a little better. There we go. That's where we're off. It's just on the one side it's off. All right, that should fit better. Sorry that I have to do this in order to make sure I'm getting good edges on this. And once I get it down, I won't be able to change it, so that's why I'm doing that. Thanks for your patience with me. The good news is that I filled my glue bottle up and cleaned it out before I came on live so that I could, so I wouldn't have to stop and start or get it too plugged up. You know, I watch other people or other crafters doing this and getting the edge around their paper, and I always wonder, how do they do it? How do they do it so quick and so easy to get everything lined up properly? There we go. Okay, one side goes and the next side doesn't. Sorry for all this finagling. There we go. Thanks for your patience. All right, so now that we've got that on, what we're going to do is we're going to go onto this, and this is going to be like that, and I wonder if no. All right, and then this is going to be like, oops, see, I didn't even do that right. Like that. Okay. So we're going to put this on, and then we're going to go ahead and then wait to do the inside of the covers until we get the center or the spine cut. So supply-wise, what you're going to need is 2 pieces of the 12 by 12 black chipboard. You can use another color if you want to, but I just like the black all the way through. In case the corners or something aren't just perfect, the black will just blend in. So otherwise you can use the tan, you know, or the tan chipboard, and you're covering it with your black paper, so that'll give you a pretty good edging around all of that. So there we go, that's pretty good. It's handmade, so nothing is perfect. So that's how we're going to do that and put that on. And I always use my art glitter glue as much as I can. It's easier. I can still, you see I could move some of this around a little bit and get that adhered. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my chipboard pieces for attaching my spine. And I've got to cut out my hinges, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with those hinges as well. And we'll fix that or finish that up when I come back. Thanks so much. We'll see you in just a little bit. Hi, well, I'm back, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I did while we were away. And what I did is I ended up, you know, finishing the back cover, which we had done together. And then what I wanted to do was to cut this spine. Now I'm going to have 7 pages that will be in the book, and I made them counted out for 3/8 of a spacing for my pages within the book. And so what I ended up doing is I cut out a piece of the chipboard, black chipboard, and this is 3 inches across and 12 inches above. And then I cut a piece of the Artisan Cardstock, and of course it's 12 inches, and it was 6 inches across. So what we have here is we have a wing here to attach it to the back of the book, and I've got another wing here, and I'm going to attach it to the back of the book. So we're going to do that, and I have, like, the reason why I'm doing 7 hinges is because I have 7 papers that I'm going to be using in the book, or for the pages of the book. So what we're going to do for this piece is I'm going to take this and glue this on and just even this out the best that I can, and glue that down, being careful when I'm gluing this down to not get too close to the book here, because I don't want my glue pouring out of this hinge here. You can use glue, not glue, but tape if you want to. But again, the art glitter glue, to me, the glues stick better. And I like the way that it bonds with the paper. So that's why I use the art glitter glue. So I'm putting that over here, and then I'm going to put this piece down, just balancing it up to my, oh, golly, wow. I need a bigger table. I don't have enough room on this table to do this big book like this. So I've got that on the back here, and that'll give us, you know, that's pulled back from the spine a bit. Sorry, that's right into the camera. Apologies. And then I'll come back here. You see how nicely that lays. And then I'm actually going to put another piece of cardstock along just to cover this here, to give this a little bit more, just to cover this so that it looks good. And I'm not sure I'm going to put wings on it. I think I may even just do a 3x12 piece on here just to give this a better coverage in the book. So I will cut that out of the black as well. That's not... You know what, I'm thinking that my pages will cover that just as well. So the other thing that I did is this is one of my first 12x12 pieces of the designer paper, and that's actually going to fit in here just like that and lay flat. But what I did in the back with the hinge is I took, and this hinge here, instead we usually use like an inch wide piece of cardstock, but what I did is I made this 3/8 and 3/8. So the original hinge is going to be 3/4 of an inch, and then it's scored in the middle, which is 3/8 of an inch, so that my gusset between my pages are 3/8 of an inch. It's not quite a half, but it's not a quarter. And I wanted to do these thin because I'm not going to have too much on these pages except for possibly, you know, photo frames in here and some different tucks, but it's not going to be, there's not going to be big flips and flaps in here unless I find something I really like. And then along here is, I took one of my punches. This is the punch, it's from Fiskars. And I punched that all the way along. There's no name on here, but this is kind of like the curlicues. So I did this and I cut a strip of 1 inch, then I punched that all along the top edge, and then I put it into the trimmer and I cut it down to 3/4 of an inch. So then the reason why I did an inch is so that it was easier to move it through the punch. You could even use, you know, a 2-inch strip if you want to, and then just cut it down to 3/4 of an inch. And then that gets put on the back of this page. And then once we have the pages in the book, then I can go ahead and I can put in my pages on the front and the back here, or if I'm going to do waterfalls. I also have from Blue Fern, there are some additional things that I got, and things that, like these are chipboard pieces that I got, but I also have, it's falling all over. I also have these journaling cards that I'm thinking about doing a waterfall or something with it. I haven't quite decided yet, so gotta figure that out. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get all my pages done that need to be done for the book, and then get those, I'm going to get those put in, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like with all of these put in, as well as I'm going to cover this again, this part and this part. If I have enough of the red paper in the same colors, I'm going to put that on, so I'll double mat. I'll do the red and then I'll do the designer paper on top of that. And then that'll tell us if I'm going to do any type of additions or journaling cards or whatever. So I will be back and I will show you how I'm going to be putting this all together. And my plan is to glue these down with the art glitter glue. And like I said, we'll see from there. So I will be back. And believe me, you don't want to watch me do all these punches and all these cuts because it's going to take a while. But I'll show you how I put it together. I'll show you how to do one, and then I'll have the other ones ready, and then we'll put them in the binder together, and we'll go from there. So that sounds good. I will see you back in a few minutes. Thanks. Hey crafters, well, I am back. As you can see probably, well, you might not be able to because I'm trying to focus on the album. I finished putting the papers in the album, and I said I would be back to show you that when I got it done. Well, I thought my camera was on and it was not. So I'm sorry about that, but I'll show you what I've done. I've not done anything that's overly difficult or anything like that. So let me just show you what I did. On the front here, I have this pattern paper, and I'm actually going to be taking these cards, and I will be putting these cards on here like a waterfall, and so that'll fill up that page a little bit more. I still haven't decided how I'm going to hold them down, or if I need to hold them down per se. I may take a ribbon. I'm just not sure yet. So, but then here you can see that I put this sheet in, and on the back of here you can see that I've got the punch outs on this side, and then I've got an empty spot here, but I'm probably going to be putting in small strips of the paper like this all throughout. Now, each of these pieces of the cardstock or the pattern paper is 12 by 12. So if I did this again, next time around, I would make this size of this maybe 11 3/4 or 11 1/2. I would take some off, because what I don't like about it is that, and I didn't think of that, this is very tight to the top and to the bottom. And so I would want to give myself a little bit of room height-wise. As far as, you know, laying down here, everything lays down pretty good. And the thing that I like the best about it is that it lays really nice and flat. And I'm not going to be putting so much bulk on these pages that you know, there'll be plenty of room between, and plenty of room to add more photos and things like that. So then we have the back of this, and I tried to match the colors or patterns as closely as I could. And then on the back of here, I have this sheet of the pattern paper, and I kind of put this together, trying to draw out some of the blue in this to the blue in here. And then on here, this is a die that I had in my stash, and there is pockets going down here. There's 3 pockets, and I'm going to be putting in here some little tags or you know, booklets or something like that. And then I'm not going to do anything else up here, but I may put a spot for a photo frame or something right up there. But something, again, just simple. And maybe it's even going to be like this, like a 4x6 photo frame. And so that it gives a little bit of dimension off there. And then this can have that picture going and flowing up that way. So then the next couple pages, these 2 pages are much more simple. If you can see the pattern, there's a beautiful red, almost looks like a fireplace with the flowers. And so it's very plain. Not sure what I'm going to do on this yet. I still have a little bit more fixing or putting together. But part of the thing is that with doing this inside of this book is I am primarily going to be focusing in on doing pockets like I did on the other page. Oh my goodness, like this. Because what that is the black Artisan cardstock with some of the designer pattern paper. And so the other thing is that when making this book, I used 1 pack, maybe 1.5 packs of the papers for this collection. I have some paper of my own that I had bought when I first got, because the collection I believe only comes with 10 sheets. I could be wrong. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 10 sheets. And so I got 2 of the 12 by 12s. I got 1 of the 12 by 12s in my designer packet, and I had one of my own because I just couldn't resist it. I love this paper so much. So then we're going into this section we just looked at. And then the next couple pages, this is the same as the front cover, but depending upon what I do with the front cover and what I do in here, I may do a waterfall coming down here. I may do a pocket on this side. And then over here, I may do like a layout of some frames and pictures. But again, I can do that when I get the pictures that I'm going to be putting into the album. So I may not do that right away until I get ready to fill the album. And then back here, we have this beautiful piece, and trying to match some of the blues and yellows and golden tones in here, in this and both of these sheets. And then this layout. Now up here, I probably will only do like a photo frame coming down here, or maybe 2 smaller photos, or 2 or 3 smaller photos going down, because there's so much beautiful designs up here, and then with the skaters down here. And I love the way this sleigh looks. It's just, these papers are just wonderful. And then on the back, it's a little bit different, but it is a part of the collection. These beautiful flowers here. And then on the back cover, as you can see, or remember that this is exactly the same as the front cover. I probably will do the same thing with the cards, but I may not. I'll have to see what or how I want to go ahead and do that. And then on the back of this cover is a beautiful background. I probably will not do anything back here other than maybe some kind of placard over there, but I think I'm just going to leave that plain. And then the other thing that I need to do is this. It's a 3 by 12 inch spine. So when I think I'm going to do the pattern paper, and I'm going to do the red and then the pattern paper. So the red paper would be 11 7/8, and then the designer paper would be 11 3/4. So I believe that's what I'm going to be doing down the back. So what I need to do is go in and put in my little strips in here. Since these hinges were 3/8 of an inch laying down here, that I'm going to be putting strips on here that are 1/4 of an inch. So you'll need that from down there. What I'm going to be doing is using some of this. These are the branding tags from the papers. So I'm going to cut some of the strips out of these branding pages or branding sections, and I will use those to put onto these sections. Now the only place that I'm not putting a tag on, or not tag, sorry, pattern paper in between here and here, is because actually I was a little bit off on here when the way I laid these down, which, you know, it can happen, and sometimes it's so minor that it really doesn't matter, and I think it looks okay. But I think if I put pattern paper down here, it would make it noticeable. So I'm just going to leave that off there, and then I'll start here with covering this paper. So when we do the walkthrough at the very end, I'll show you what that all looks like. So one of the things that takes the longest for me is decorating the book, the front cover and the back cover, and trying to get everything where I want it to go. So I wanted to show you what I had done so far, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to get for sure this waterfall in place, possibly a frame or 2 in place, and then I'm also going to be using this graphic 45 red flowers, and these also are from Country Craft Creations. So I'm going to be adding that red to the front of my album, along with a couple other pieces of ephemera. I'm going to be adding them on. I just cut these out and then rounded the corners. Same thing with this little note card, and these were in, actually it wasn't the ephemera, it was the cut aparts. So I went ahead and cut all of these out all these different cut aparts, and I will be adding these to my pages. And whether I do something like this and make it a tuck down here, I have to go through and see where I want to go with that. So wanted to run back and give you this, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what I've done to all the pages, to the cover, and it'll be basically the walkthrough at the very beginning, because I'll start off with the walkthrough and then the rest of that. So I look forward to seeing you again in a little bit, and if you don't come back, you'll have to stop back at another time. Thanks so very much, and I will see you in a little while after I've finished off on the decorating. Thank you.